Hey, everybody.
Oh God.
Oh, can you tell it's Sunday night? I actually am sick.
You
I
don't
came
look sick if that's at all
well,
helpful.
that's very nice. It must be the fever flushing my face, but I don't even know if I have a fever. I am not well, but I wanted to come on today, Michelle. I know you did too.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, my voice is about to go. Um, just to take a break from everything that we're seeing in the news,
Yeah.
because apparently the only news that's going on in this world is the memorial service for a podcaster.
It's on the front of the New York Times website right now. I'm like,
I have to say this, like, I'm not surprised that Fox is doing this because they know, look, the right-wing media is exploiting this, the administration is exploiting this.
mm-hmm.
Everybody's exploiting on the right this tragedy
Yep.
because out of chaos comes opportunity is their
Mhm.
mindset, and of course, they exploit it.
Can't let a good tragedy go to waste.
What I can't believe, and I got to be honest with you, I just can't believe this, is that CNN and MSNBC and the New York Times and other
Are they
alleged,
all covering it?
they're all covering it. They're all covering it. That's why I wanted to come on today, despite
Yeah.
the fact that I'm not well, and I know you're tired also from a late night last night. But I think we wanted to come on because, like, we wanted to give people some other content besides this nonsense.
Yeah. And it
And
is
it
nonsense.
is nonsense. And I have to say, I spent last night, probably what got me sick. I'm gonna ask my son to please turn off his volume right now. Um, but he's ignoring me, so I'm gonna text it to him. Excuse me. Um, um, oh, it's not my son. It's my husband who apparently is watching this.
I know I have it on our TV in the
Yeah.
living. I've
Um,
had it on and off all day. And the thing is, like, I just want to say this really quick. I think was it Don Jr., I think, in his speech talked about free speech and how when we don't disagree with people, we don't silence them. And it just like the whole thing, I'm like, they're trolling us. They're trolling us. The entire production is very RNC meets CPAC
whoa,
meets mega
turning
church.
point. Yeah, turning point.
Yeah.
And you know what, Michelle? Last night I was about to say this until I decided to get upset about this noise thing. But I was writing, I did this weekly column with Olga Lautman about the active measures that the Russians took in 2016 to interfere with our election. And we weren't going to do it until Trump said there was no Russian interference. And then we're
Right.
like, really, watch this. So we put together literally like a 3,000 to 5,000 word article every week, focusing on one element or another. And the one that I just so happened to be working on yesterday, last night until about 2 o'clock in the morning, was about WikiLeaks, and it was basically about how WikiLeaks was very smart. They would put out the Podesta emails, like, right, like the Hollywood, the Access Hollywood tape broke, and then within hours they
Oh
started
yeah.
the Podesta stuff.
Yep.
And forget that. Of course, that's to be expected. But what is not to be expected is what the New York Times did and what American media did,
Right.
which is they went every day, day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out, and covered these stupid Podesta emails, despite the fact that if you looked at those emails, there was nothing in them, like
Yeah, they were
zero,
talking about like
nothing in them.
risotto recipes. Like, remember, like John Podesta, there was this whole back
Yeah,
and forth about him, like how much stock to add to the risotto recipe, and
yeah.
like had it. And the thing is, it's like they were so desperate for anything to match the ridiculousness of a Donald Trump presidential campaign that they were chasing any lead, anything that would make it seem balanced or something, because everyone just assumed Hillary was going to win. And she didn't.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, the New York Times actually ran. I'm going to just pull up the stat because I just finished writing it, and I think it's relevant to what we're talking about here, because the New York Times ran. Let's see. I think it was something. I don't have it right in front of me, but they ran something along the lines of. Here it is. In just 6 days, the Times ran as many email cover stories about Podesta derived from the GRU hack, the Russian intelligence hack, all policy issues in the 69 days before the election.
Yep.
And this is happening again, right? I just want to put this in perspective. This is happening again.
Mm-hmm.
The Charlie Kirk thing is happening again. Now, look, I will say it. I've been saying it for the last week or however long it's been since the shooting. It is a tragedy that he's dead. It is a tragedy for his family. It is a tragedy for his movement. It is a tragedy for his followers. It is a tragedy for America that we have this kind of political violence continuing to take place. However, he is not Princess Diana. He's not. And for MSNBC and all of these other supposed progressive, or not even progressive, New York Times doesn't even consider itself progressive, from all of these non-right wing
serious, like they're supposed to be serious places.
Now, now their excuse is going to be, well, it's the president of the United States, and that's why he's speaking. Bullshit. The president of the States speaks all the time, and you don't go live, wall-to-wall coverage. You just don't. You don't. I'm sorry.
Well, and the whole thing was ridiculous, by the way. So he spoke after Charlie Kirk's widow spoke because, and he walks out on stage and he's like, ladies and gentlemen, president of the United States, blah, 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 blah. He walks out. Lee Greenwood, who sounds awful, starts singing God Bless the USA, and these like sparkler firework things start going off on the edge of the stage, and he's just standing there with that shit-eating grin on his face, and he's got a blob of makeup on his hand, and stands there on this is what he does at his rallies, as we all know. He goes and he like does this weird arm swing, and he just stands there for like 3 minutes while the song plays, and it's super weird. And again, I was like, this is not about Charlie Kirk. Like, stop. I'm like, I don't even like the guy. I actually think that he was not a good person at all. However, like, here's this memorial service for the guy where there's like tens of thousands of people packed into the stadium. And Donald Trump cannot stand to have to honor anyone except for himself. So even if he's talking about Charlie Kirk in a sentence, it somehow always makes its way back to himself.
And this is, that's a great point. And the other point that I wanted to make is what's unforgivable about this, and we don't need to belabor Charlie Kirk. We can talk about other things going on in the world. I know it's hard to believe there are other things going on in this world, but there are.
Last night there was a lot of breaking news, but yeah, keep going.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I'm going to just say this, that by doing what they're doing, the New York Times and and MSNBC and CNN is effectively normalizing and mainstreaming the stuff that Charlie Kirk said.
Yep.
And we don't need to belabor what he said because, Michelle, you put together what I think is this insanely good, and we should play it at the end here again, this insanely good piece of content that everybody should just watch and share because it's truly just Charlie Kirk in his own words. But he said the most awful, reprehensible, horrible things.
And this, by the way, doesn't even scratch the surface.
Doesn't even scratch the surface. I know you only had 7 minutes to do this as opposed to the 27 hours that you probably could have.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've even found more stuff since I did this that people have sent me. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy.
Yeah, but that's my point. Like, but they're normalizing him, right? Because they're like, they're not getting the counter narrative because of this rally. You're not going to hear a counter narrative, much like a Trump rallies. You're not going to hear a counter narrative. And when Fox used to take the Trump rallies live back in 2016 when I worked there, I can understand that their goal was to elect Donald Trump. They're not a news organization. They're a political advocacy organization. Frankly, they should register with the FEC. But when CNN would take them live, I'd have a problem with that.
Yeah.
When Les Moonves said, this may be bad for America, but it's great for CBS. Les Moonves, the former chairman of CBS, remember that famous line with the advertising dollars were coming in? This may not be good for America, but it's good for CBS. Well, that's what they're doing again. This Charlie Kirk guy and his viewpoints may not be good for America, but they're damn good for CNN's ratings. Because I guess well, although I don't know, I'd love to know, because I guarantee you there are so many people who are not watching this crap today because they just don't want to deal anymore. They don't want to hear it. They're turning off CNN. My husband, who is a cable news junkie, has not turned it on once today. I don't think he wants to watch it.
Yeah. Well, I was flipping around through YouTube just to see like all the feeds and who was covering it. And it was Reuters actually that was using the feed from Turning Point USA into their feed. And they had a crawl. See how we've got a crawl at the bottom of our screen? The crawl on their screen says, text 72 blah, blah, blah merch to be connected with the TPUSA merch store. And it's all like selling stuff like text blah, 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 like any donation, you will receive a Charlie Kirk wristband. Like it's just, it's like televangelism.
Yeah. So congratulations. Congratulations, Reuters. I'm glad you're raising money
Yeah.
for a hate group, because that is in fact what Turning Point USA is. And if
Mhm.
you don't believe us, why don't you watch Michelle's video and then you'll see what we're talking about. Michelle, why don't we talk about like stuff that's actually happening in the real world that's
Yeah.
important? Because I
So
don't even know that people know what's been going on. Let's talk about your favorite former Northern New York neighbor.
yeah, Tom Homan.
Tom Homan. Does anybody here know what Tom Homan was about? Guys, I know you're emailing us about Benny Johnson's speech and all that other stuff. Like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. If you want to talk about
Benny Johnson's another one of those that like just line all the commanders and Gilead up, and he's right up there with the rest of them.
By the way, Benny Johnson, the only thing you need to know about Benny Johnson is he was taking money from the Russians to spew his propaganda. That's all you need to know about him. Let's move on.
Willingly and knowingly. And so last night, yesterday, actually, it wasn't even last night. Yesterday afternoon, later in the afternoon, one of my best friends and I and our other friend, we went down to the West Village to have daytime martinis at this new French restaurant on Thompson Street. And we're having a grand old time. And then we're like walking around the West Village, waiting for Marie's Crisis to open. If you don't know Marie's Crisis, it's like a gay piano bar where everybody's in. Anyways,
if you're in New York, by the way, let me just do a little shout out. Go to Marie's. It's so much fun. You don't need to be a Broadway singer to go. It's so much fun. It's just great. But go ahead.
Well, no, so they weren't open yet. So we found ourselves over on like West 4th or something in some karaoke room thing. I don't know. Anyway, so we're having a grand old time, the three of us just like screaming into a microphone. And then I get a text from my dad. And he's like, Tom Homan's in some trouble. And I was like real trouble, or is he like doing something bad again? And so I see that Tom Homan is on tape having accepted a $50,000 bribe in cash. And the cash was like in a kava bag or something like that. And there was an investigation into this. And then of course, Donald Trump's Justice Department just magically dropped the charges, drops the investigation into it or anything. And Megyn Kelly tweeted out, "We do not care. Let it go." Because she's mental. Have you been seeing her back and forths with like Tim Miller and everything? She's on a one-way ticket to crazy town. Like, let me just say. So Tom Homan, there's that. And then what it was last night or this morning, I think it was last night, Donald Trump was definitely like meaning to direct message Pam Bondi, but instead accidentally posted the message to his Truth Social, telling her to investigate his political enemies and that she needed to start doing it faster. And then he deleted it.
Let's go back to Tom Homan before we get to that screen, because here's the deal with Tom Homan. For all that Republicans, every accusation is an admission, and they constantly are talking about how it's the Biden Justice Department that weaponized law enforcement and weaponized justice against them. Let me tell you something. The fact that we're only learning about this Tom Homan investigation now, and not last year when the Justice Department was actually investigating it, like the Merrick Garland Biden Justice Department.
Right.
Guess what? We didn't know about it. They could have easily, that scandal could have dropped, I don't know, October 15th of last year, but it didn't. It didn't. And the reason it didn't is because we used to live in a country where you don't do what Donald Trump just did. You don't tweet the attorney general or otherwise send them a private message saying, we got to hurry this up. The reason they want to hurry it up is because apparently they have about like, I forgot, it's just a few days before the statute of limitations expires on Comey. So like he needs it done now because he needs to get it. If Comey's going to get indicted, he needs to be indicted like this week or something. But, you know, like all of this is something that would have made Watergate's like a nothing burger compared to
Oh,
this.
I know. Watergate's like Girl Scouts at this point.
Yeah. And what is our media talking about? Some stupid right-wing revival / CPAC convention / whatever. Like, what is going on with legacy media?
Peloton. I know.
Like, what is going on here? What the hell is going on? Why are we talking about this?
I know. And this is just goes, and again, like, I guess this is a little self-serving just because this is what we're trying to do here. But more so, it's, it's self-serving in the fact that we're doing this because the moment needs it, because we can't trust, nor can we depend or count on legacy media anymore. We just can't. Like they're all owned by like two people now. And they're all so clearly terrified of Donald Trump. I mean, Bob Iger, what the hell, man?
Yeah. And I got to tell you, like, I'm on the New York Times homepage right now. And what am I seeing here? 4 stories, the top 4 stories. Trump officials, conservative leaders lionize Charlie Kirk at memorial. For Erica Kirk, her husband's life cut short by violence he seemed to foresee. Okay, great. Now I guess he's a like a prophet too. Kirk's service, an extraordinary fusion of government and Christianity. Okay. Where Kirk stood on key political issues. Don't care. Okay, then we scroll down way after that. The recognition of a Palestinian state by Britain, Australia, Canada, and Portugal. Okay, now that's real news that actually affects anybody who's not married to or related to Charlie Kirk. That's interesting. Okay. And then we go to the Trump administration. An assault on free speech. Trump targets speech he hates. Okay, that's not really news. Trump demands that body move now to prosecute foes. Nothing on Homan. Nothing at all. And then we go to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson knows about pain. Okay, well, I'm so happy to hear that about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and I'm so sorry that he knows about pain. But the pain that I'm feeling right now is what the paper of record is putting on its front page. And, we are getting to the point here where they've just sold out. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, they've just sold out.
I'm screenshotting this stuff so I can throw it up on the screen here. But it's, yeah, I mean, and here's the other thing, and we talked about this yesterday morning, that Bill Maher, who has lost the plot, had Tom Homan on his show Friday night. And, again, like, it's not holding this guy's feet to the fire. Not really, because Tom Homan is a jackass and he doesn't care. I mean, he has said several times out loud, I don't care if people like me or not, because his goal in life is to lock up brown people. Like, that's all he wants. And I've said this before. I'll say it again. Tom Homan is from a little place called West Carthage. It has like 900 people. They're all white. And that's where he was like the village cop. And that's where he started his law enforcement career. And so he's the hometown hero up there for reasons I will never understand. But this is not a man who has spent any amount of his life around diversity in any way that could lead him to be an accepting person. Instead, he has spent his career chasing immigrants and chasing brown people. And if I have to hear his mush mouth say anything in the wake of this, and listen, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. I'm just going to read this. I'm just going to read this headline here from MSNBC. Tom Homan was investigated for accepting $50,000 from undercover FBI agents. Trump's DOJ shut it down. The FBI and justice officials closed the investigation, which a Justice Department appointee had called a, quote, deep state probe in early 2025. And here's just a little bit about it in the first couple paragraphs here. In an undercover operation last year, the FBI recorded Tom Homan, now the White House border czar, for accepting $50,000 in cash after indicating he would help the agents, who were posing as business executives, win government contracts in a second Trump administration, according to multiple people familiar with the probe. The FBI and the Justice Department plan to wait to see whether Homan would deliver on his alleged promise once he became the nation's top immigration official. But the case indefinitely stalled soon after Donald Trump became president again in January, according to 6 sources. And in recent weeks, Trump appointees officially closed the investigation after FBI Director Kash Patel, of course, requested a status update on the case, two other people said. So, I mean, like, this is just like, I mean, yet again, the fix is in.
Of course. I mean, it's not even, I just, it's one thing if and I know again, it's going to sound self serving. It's one thing if they did this despite pushback from Woodward and Bernstein.
Right.
But there is no Woodward and Bernstein now.
Mm-mm.
There's nobody. They write these stories, and then it's like a not even a 1-day story. It's like
Hardly. Right.
it's like we all have like attention deficit disorder. It's like it's like a 2-second story,
Mm-hmm.
and they all move on to whatever Trump wants to talk about. Remember Jeffrey Epstein? Remember
Yeah.
that?
What happened to that?
Remember what happened to that guy? What happened to those women who stood up on the in the Capitol,
Mm-hmm.
talked about their horrible stories?
Mm-hmm. It's
I mean, what happened there?
and then here's the message from Donald Trump that he had posted September 20th. That was yesterday at 6:31 p.m. He posts and was very quickly deleted. Pam, I have reviewed over 30 statements and posts saying that essentially, quote, same old story as last time. All talk, no action. Nothing is being done. What about Comey, Adams, Shifty Schiff, Letitia? Question mark, question mark, question mark. They're all guilty as hell, but nothing is going to be done, end quote. Then we almost put in a Democrat supported U.S. attorney in Virginia with a really bad Republican past, a woke rhino who was never going to do his job. That's why 2 of the worst Dem senators pushed him so hard. He even lied to the media and said he quit and that we had no case. No, I fired him, and there is a great case, and many layers and legal pundits say so. And then this is highlighted by the author of this tweet. Lindsay is a really good lawyer and likes you a lot. We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing, all caps. Justice must be served now, President DJT.
What's up with Lindsay's a very good lawyer? What is Lindsey Graham? What is Lindsey Graham pushing to do this?
I don't know if this is Lindsay or if it's what, like,
I assume it's Lindsey Graham. I don't know.
I'm assuming, but basically he's saying like we need to get back at them and you need to do this and you need to do it now, which is insane.
By the way, a lot of people think that's a direct message to her that he posted.
It might not. Like, now that I'm reading it out loud, it might not have been.
I think he's kind of senile. I think he just, it's not that he's senile. He doesn't care. And this, again, this just drives me so up the wall. I did a whole Substack on this today because it drives me crazy, crazy, crazy. What is going on where you have lawless Republicans doing shit like this on a daily basis, holding somebody like Charlie Kirk, who has said awful things about 95% of the American population, holding him up as some sort of hero, martyr, St. Paul, if you ask the Cardinal of New York, Cardinal Dolan. And Democrats are so scared of their own shadow that, as we talked yesterday on Coffee and Conversation, they're voting to honor Charlie Kirk because, oh my goodness.
Oh, I know. I got a lot of messages from friends just being like, are you kidding me? What is wrong with these people? Holy shit. Like,
well, let me give you an example. Because as predicted, there's a New Jersey governor's race happening in November in 6 or 7 weeks, and the absentee ballots, the vote by mail ballots, went out on Saturday, went out yesterday. So the election is on. People are voting. And Mikey Sherrill, the Democratic nominee, who's a sitting member of Congress.
I'm afraid she's going to lose.
Well, I am too, because of shit like this. She tweeted out attacking her Republican counterpart, her Republican opponent, Jack Ciattarelli. She opposed him, tried to tie him to Kirk, and basically saying, like, look at all these horrible things Charlie Kirk supports and awful, and this is not right. And you know what Jack Ciattarelli said? Well, I don't know why you're saying this to me. You're the one who voted for him. You're the one who voted to honor his legacy. Why are you being a hypocrite? You just voted to honor his legacy. And you know what? You know what? Good for you, Jack Ciattarelli, and shame on you, Mikey Sherrill, because you opened yourself up to that one, and he walked right through that door.
It's all very Selena Meyer. It's all very like, I feel like I'm in an episode of Veep, a really, really, really bad, sad episode of Veep, where, I feel like candidates like Mikey Sherrill are trying to have it every which way. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I think that, and this is the part that they don't really seem to understand. I don't even know that it's the position that they're taking that people are not in favor of. I think people don't like Democrats because they do this shit, because they're wishy-washy and they don't stand in their principles, and they don't say, screw you, this is what I'm doing or not doing. They just try to do one thing. Yep. And then, play the other side. And it makes people feel like, who are you? You're a liar.
You know why people on the Republican side love Donald Trump? Because he calls it like he sees it. They may not agree with him. They may not think that he says it in the right way. He may not be their cup of tea. They respect the fact that he and his entire movement, which is now subsumed the Republican Party, just go out there and say shit and do it and stick to it. And they're not sitting around having these sort of dialectical discussions with them, these Hamlet routines of, well, I don't know, if I don't vote for this resolution, I'm going to be accused of being insensitive. I don't vote for this resolution, people might say that I don't care about Charlie Kirk being murdered, or I don't care about political violence. No. There was a resolution on the table that the Democrats proposed that would have honored both Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump. And I can go on, not just both of them, but many others, Josh Shapiro, Melissa Hortman,
victims of political violence, right?
And all political violence, Steve Scalise, and the victims of January 6th, and all of it. And Republicans said no. And they said, screw you, we're just going to do Charlie Kirk. They didn't sit there and say, well, oh my God, if we don't support this, people might think that we don't support violence against, that we support violence against Paul Pelosi, we support January 6th. Screw that. They just said, screw you, we're going to do what we want.
They overthink everything, and
they're scared of their own shadows. And and the people who I think are really disgusting are not the ones who voted yes, although they're
present.
It's the people who voted present. I'm talking to you, Ro Khanna, and a bunch of people like that. You don't even have the balls. You don't even have the, I hate the word balls. Actually, women have much more testicular fortitude.
I know. I always think, I was like, oh,
yeah, I don't want to use that word. They don't even have the courage of their convictions to say, you know what? I'm just going to vote no. Or I'm going to vote yes. They're going to vote present, like a bunch of little fearful mice.
Do not obey in advance. Do not obey in advance. And they're all doing it. And I think the thing that is just the most depressing, I think, as just a regular American, is watching every single part of society just bend over and take it. Like it's industry, it's the media, it's the people that we've elected to represent us that can't stand up to him or any of it. And I'm like, and then you see that and you think to yourself, well, what are the rest of us supposed to do when we can't even count on you? And the thing is that, like, even like the members of the media, right, and even journalists don't necessarily seem to understand their own power. Like, if they were all to kind of, going to come together, and back each other up and have each other's back, I'm I don't know, Julie. I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. Well, you guys, it is now, we've been at this for about half an hour. We wanted to give people a break. I'm going to go back to bed because I am not feeling well, as I said.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great to see all of you. And I hope that you guys had a little bit of a break from Kirk land. Now go watch some football and go Giants. I guess that's all I can say.
Yeah.
Turn off this nonsense. Turn off this nonsense.
Yeah, turn off the nonsense and I genuinely mean this. If you subscribe or give your money to Disney, Hulu, ESPN, any of these cancel your subscriptions. Cancel them. Don't give your money to these places and these people who are willing to sell out your freedom and the freedom of your family for a bottom line and Donald Trump. Like that is what is happening here. And I'm seeing like already canceled. Yes. I mean, same. My husband and I, same thing. We canceled all of it. And you know, this is where I encourage people to subscribe and support independent voices like Jim Acosta, like Don Lemon, Mary Trump, the people over at the Bulwark. Support us at Mayday, although we haven't, you know, officially launched. Please like and subscribe our channel so that, you know, it helps us get the word out. And also you'll be the first to know when we're going to go live and do these things. And I've had it, ladies. We love them too. I mean, there's so many people now that are out there doing the courageous, brave work of truth telling. And we need more of them because we cannot count on the people that, you know, that we've been able to count on. We no longer can. And it's awful. But, you know, here we are. Here we are, Julie.
Great to see everybody. And we will see you probably tomorrow for another daily dispatch. In the meantime, have a really good night and see you all later. Bye.
Bye, everyone.